Citeh After Dark with Kyle and Colby.
Welcome to a very special event, ladies and gentlemen.
The inaugural episode of
Citeh
After
After Dark.
Dark. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Citeh After Dark. I'm your host Colby, along with my best buddy Kyle. We are gonna get right into this. We're coming right off of the Champions League win against Real Madrid, a 4-3 show. That was what a match.
It was a hell of a match. I mean, from just the City perspective, I had predicted a scoreline relative to that. You predicted pretty
4-2.
Close to that too. Yeah.
4-2, yeah.
We expected the goals to be there.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I mean, giving up that penalty was just bad. But the other two goals, I mean, those are legit. Like, you're just playing that tier of a fucking team. Like, what are you going to do?
Well, one of those goals could have been avoided. Now that, I mean, that's not me putting anything on Kyle
realistically,
Walker.
both of them could have been, but
That one by Vinicius, that was, if Kyle Walker was there, that wouldn't have happened. Just flat out.
Honestly, I was kind of surprised that, like, we didn't see some classic Fernandinho go down and him just be like, and knock him the fuck down for trying that shit. And that's normal. I mean, that's what I would have done. Like, yo, you want to nutmeg me? Well, you're going on fucking sit on the ground real quick. And that's kind of what I expected from him. But like, yeah, what are you gonna do? It was a great fucking move on that level. What I would actually say the problem was, because at that same time we are pressing, we are running right up onto you, so it's giving that leeway. I mean, that's why we saw all of those nutmegs today.
Yeah.
It's allowing for them to like make that move. But in that same token, what we should have seen was, you saw that Diaz was caught out, like he wasn't making that run, but Laporte still had the fucking pursuit angle and just didn't cut in right. If he had made that move in on and it was kind of like switch sides with Diaz for a second to cut that off, different story.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Then we can talk about the Benzema goal where like shit. That's the kind of goal that you see where it's somebody who truly A, has the talent to do it, but B, like when they see it, like see the shot, it was a good shot. It was a great goal.
It was.
And
let's go back to the beginning of the match though. Like, I mean, this thing started off with a bam, Kevin De Bruyne with a header.
That was fastest ever in the semifinal.
Fastest ever in a city final or a Champions League final, yeah?
Right. Champions League semifinal, yeah.
Yeah. That was incredible. And that really, I mean, I was screaming. I was running around my house singing Kevin De Bruyne.
I was not ready for like that rapid onslaught. And then we were kind of spoiled, and it was even like the players were looking spoiled. Like it was like, come on, guys, like 2 is not a fucking enough.
No, it wasn't. I understood the way that Pep strategized this game, especially being that we were out 2 of our starting 11. You saw a lot through the first quarter of the second half or the third quarter of play. He slowed the tempo down, which I really appreciated. I really appreciate when he does that, but also at the same time, you kind of saw Real starting to park the bus a little bit. But what that enabled for the rest of the play, especially with Fernandinho coming in, because let's be honest, I love Dino, but Dino can get gassed real fast. And he, for as much sprinting as he did just in the second half, I'm not surprised, or I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't even rotated out.
I mean, he was subbed in, so you'd hope
he was subbed in, but I'm saying I'm surprised that Pep didn't sub somebody else out, swing him in, move them over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he had some really good splashing play for us tonight, but it wasn't enough defensively. That was not who we should have had pairing up against Vinicius. I really think that we could have put Ake there. I think that could have been a good try because he has a lot of recovery speed. And I know I'm totally going back on that. I said that a few weeks ago that his recovery speed was shit. He proved me wrong over the last 3 matches. And I feel like he would have been the better guy there, even though he is more predominantly a left center back. I feel like he would have definitely been able to keep him at bay at best.
Well, and it is also, it kind of begs the question, like, I mean, first of all, John Stones is out. That's right. Like, we don't know how bad that is. The look on his face was, I'm worried. Luckily, it is late enough in the season to where he could actually get a full, if it's like a really bad thing, he could have a full recovery before the start of next season. But like, and we wouldn't miss him that much, kind of thing. But like, that's a player to miss. And
it is a player to miss. And he
was playing well at right back too.
He was, and he has the last couple of times that he has been put in that slot. But like, kind of going forward, my question here is like, with this particular situation where we are now down one of our best center backs playing at the right back position, who is the player that we need to bring up to kind of fill the void, at least until the end of the season?
I mean, unless we're just talking about switching shit around, which I don't necessarily think is a need. At least we could, like, do like a mid-match sub or something like that.
Right. This is in high preparation that Stonesy is just, he's not going to be good for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, I'm saying he might be gone for longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he looked. One of my main concerns, before I get too far into that also, is we're kind of still just hoping that Kyle Walker is available. I haven't heard anything definitive as to how his training or anything, but into that, I would really like to see Mbete come in and actually get some minutes at center back.
Yes.
We have some options that we could move some things around that way. I would just like to see some of our youth get some minutes here in some of these matches, especially if we, or in the case that say it's the 60th minute and we're at 4-0 or something like that.
Right.
Go ahead and put those fucking kids in, whatever.
Let them have a fuck about, and that's who I would, and I've said it in a couple of episodes past, that's who I want to see come up. He has really good size. He reminds me of a bit of a Ruben Diaz, just because of his size, because of the way he can, get back. And that's what I've just seen in him in training.
The backtracking aspect is he has it almost it's almost like watching him imitate Ruben Diaz's style of play.
Right.
Which for a player at his age, granted, Ruben Diaz is much older, but
right. Well, but even to be studying underneath of him.
Yeah.
Even
when
you
think about it,
underneath him.
It still has to be said that Ruben Diaz is kind of like a young, young player,
he is relatively. What's he, 26, 27 now?
He's like 23. 24?
24, okay.
No, he will be 25.
Even still, that's you're at that age, most players are just pushing the start of their prime. So we got some good time with that guy.
But all just worry about finding a fucking Vincent Company substitute or somebody who could fill those shoes, and cheers Diaz.
Exactly. Let's talk about those 2 goals back to. We were just talking about the Vinicius goal. Foden, right before then, had a nice little knock in. We needed that right then. We honestly needed that.
Well, and we can beat the horse until it's dead. But the truth is, there were so many fucking chances that we just did not put away.
Yes.
And
one particular, like the Mahrez was that was wide open, and he dinked it, and then it came back, and then it was who got the recovery? Was it Kevin? And he knocked it. No, it was Phil knocked it. Kevin, then they squashed it.
Right.
But yeah, there was plenty of chances that were just like that throughout the match. I mean, this should have been realistically, this should have been a 7-3 match.
Minimum. Yeah. Like, I don't really think that. I mean, if the game had gone on longer, maybe another goal out of them. But
maybe
if we had scored, and so like one of my friends from Manchester, he was like that's what you get when you have like a true dedicated 9, and like it does kind of beg that question that well, obviously we're playing well enough with that one this season, so that isn't exactly a fucking argument.
Right.
But
I think it's funny that they keep making it one.
But in these situations, especially in cup ties like that, Erling Haaland up front, that's a different fucking game.
It is.
And
it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, Pep knows what he's buying when he gets Haaland. So it's and also just so we're clear and upfront on this, we did see a picture of Mr. Haaland in Monaco with Mino Raiola. So there's potential that we might hear in the next couple of days, guys, that Erling Haaland is coming to Man City. God, I will be fucking cheering from my goddamn roof when that happens. all of Virginia will hear me.
Buying a new shirt the next day.
Yep.
I'm just watching the highlights again, and that first goal from Kevin. Like, how often do you see Kevin head a fucking ball for one?
Not like a rocket ship like that, man. He came in like he was Superman, like poof.
Mm-hmm.
One of let's also talk about the Benzema penalty kick. That penalty shouldn't fucking happen. That was a lousy call.
I mean, like, as I understand the rules, if it comes off of your body or your head or whatever into your arm, that should not be a penalty.
It's incidental.
I do understand the argument that his arm was
what
the fuck?
Right.
But like, I feel like we've had shit that should have been handball penalties for us called again, like taken away from us because of that same shit. So it's like,
yeah, being on the brunt of it and then having it happen to us.
If it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen in the Champions League. So
of course,
whatever.
Of course.
I mean, fuck. Champions League semifinal has been. We've had some rough times with that shit.
Clearly, because let's recap before the match happened. Big old boo for Champions League. Big old.
Well,
we all know why.
I'm just saying, from my fucking armchair, you'll hear me booing UEFA. Fuck them. But yeah, it's. The day that we lift that trophy,
it's coming, man. It's coming.
See, okay, I just watched the clip again for where Riyadh had that chance, and then like we were talking about that, how he ended up actually going for the tight angle near post shot instead of trying, and he did have like a clear lane for that pass. Clear. It just had to be timed just perfectly. Right.
But that's what I was saying to you in those text messages, man. If you look at the speed of that center back coming back on that,
there was a lane.
There was a lane. There absolutely was. But I do not think that the ball would have made it through on that pass. Period.
And there's another one. Kevin getting Phil off to the side. Phil streaking down. And it's just him one-on-one and tries to cut across and is a foot wide. Like, I mean, that happens, but I feel like we had like 3 different shots like that.
We did. Like, you know what? I can't say that doesn't really come from. We've been out on the court, on the field, whatever it may be. Both you and I know this feeling when you're in the process of a game and shit's moving fast. You got to be there. sometimes it doesn't always line up. So we kind of have to give him credit there for even just making the attempts that they did. Because at the end of the match, if we're looking at the attempts to, all right, so they had City had 16 attempts, 5 on target versus Real's 11 and 5. But yeah, I mean, the on target shots even still could have been even up a little bit more. A couple of those off target shots could have went into that on targets. But there's so many things that happen. The game speed tonight, period, was one of the fastest that I've seen in a while.
That was honestly like, no matter what happens, that was a hell of a fucking match to watch.
It really was.
Like, even, even though we should have done better, even though this and this and that, God, I mean, credit to Real and that's the supporters' dream of, like, if it was a one-off and we just came off of a 4-3, I would be going nuts. Yeah. And by the way, Citeh After Dark next week, I am praying that's what you get from me.
Absolutely.
But, like, we'll see.
We'll see. So just to kind of like finish up the match a little bit, what do you think going into the next match Pep's tactics need to be going into the Bernabeu?
Well, first, I'd say it depends on what players we have available.
We're hoping Cancelo and Walker will be back by then.
Honestly, I actually like Grealish for this fixture.
Yes.
Because of his hold-up play, because of his ability, because, like, it felt like we were dispossessed a lot of times that we probably shouldn't have been, and he's better at controlling the ball than some of those situations were showing.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you're talking about two of the best that can touch the ball in Riyad Mahrez and Phil Foden, but I just feel like adding his size, adding that, like, I just think that he would be a good one to put in there. It also depends on what we see in the weekend with the Premier League matches, but I mean, maybe he'll be starting 90 for that and they'll just give these guys a rest. Although I don't really feel like that's Pep's style. I feel like Pep is going to try and come out and throw at least one or two different attackers. I mean, we didn't see Gundogan. Like, no, that's an interesting thing to throw in the mix.
I think the next line we will see will be probably Bernardo, Rodri, and Gundo. The way that they played, and then subbing Kev. Well, and if you look at the way that they played Kev tonight, he played a lot of false nine. He was here, there, every fucking where.
Truly.
This whole match. I mean, he, like we were saying about Cancelo last match, he was all over the fucking pitch, everywhere. And Kev was doing the same thing. If you saw in the third quarter of play moving on, he was playing in that false nine role a lot.
Yeah.
And which he needed to be. And he was the perfect person for that, especially if you're going to go opposite of Benzema. So I really felt that was really cool what they did with that. I really like seeing Kev play as the false nine.
Just being in those attacking areas more than like playing up to him. I like when he's in that. Because he's another one who can control the ball really well in tight spaces. So you get like four guys clattering in on him. Well, he can sit there and position around with the ball and come out with it. And then there's somebody open. And, it's right there where Zinchenko got fucking taken out. And I was screaming at the TV, what the fuck? Like, where's the fucking foul? And he's given it to play on. And Bernardo.
I want to send a huge shout out to Zinchenko because he had a great match tonight.
Cheers. That's where I was leading. Is that was he played really. I mean, he's every single time he gets like a little bit of these like matches in a row kind of thing where he's getting some minutes in a row. You will see Zinchenko come out and just be like an incredible fucking player.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Riyad had the real tight angle and missed it. I mean, it was a really tight angle to be fair, but. Getting in the 75th minute. Yeah, he's like, but still, it looked like the rotation of the ball spun it out. If he had a little more straight, it would have.
It would. And when you see it from that angle from the post, you see where it kind of starts curving out when it could have, that ball could have just moved just a little bit to the right. It was going in.
one of the things that we were talking about was shutting down Modric, and I think that we did see like a pretty quiet Modric out of that match.
We did.
I mean, Danny Ceballos got put in.
Coles was all over the place too. Like he definitely was trying to make a difference for their midfield. He was playing a little rough.
I mean, he was one that I was kind of surprised to see start. Like, I get that he's tried and true, but when you have a midfield like we do, like I don't know.
I wouldn't have put him in.
No,
I wouldn't have put him in.
Oh, and with the penalty, God, I mean, you're 4-2 down. It's pretty fucking ballsy an away match to chip the keeper on your fucking penalty. I mean, it worked out for him, but fuck, if I really like as that was happening, I was stand the fuck up and swat the shit out of his bitch ass.
Benzema definitely did he faked him the fuck out though. Like I thought he was going in for the powerhouse kick. Like I was like, well, he's just gonna fucking dink this one in there, and then he fucking just. That was a bit demoralizing.
Cheeky fucking move.
Cheeky move. So yeah, guys. Overall, this was a pretty awesome match. Really looking forward to next week's and going to the Bernabeu and hopefully being able to say we're going to the finals. But we do have our next match coming up this weekend, which we will touch on in our flagship show, 3 Points in a Pie podcast. Against Leeds. I'm pretty excited about this match simply and only because Jesse fucking Marsh. I would love to see I would love to see his style of play against Pep Guardiola's. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to show a lot for Leeds. Right now, they're the last match, they didn't do so hot. That was I believe that was a draw.
If they try to spread out on us and come at us, I think that we're going to tear them
just
apart.
Destroy them.
Yeah. I mean, they might get a goal, maybe two, but I really don't even think that'll happen, especially with Diaz back fit. I feel like our back line now is just a different level.
Do you think this is a match that we sit Ederson and bring back in Zach and kind of maybe not so much as a sympathy spot, but more as hey man, this is a team that we feel pretty confident against. Let's put you in. Let's give Ederson a rest. We got a big match coming up.
In the uplifting Zach Steffen kind of way, I would love to see that. But as far, the Premier League race is too close. We got to play every fucking gun we have,
right? And not having Kyle Walker, not having Cancelo potentially for that match is going to. I'm not scared of their wingers. I'm not scared, but anything.
Well, Cancelo will be back. He just had.
That's right. He was on suspension. That's right. He was just on
for Champions League. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually just reading something with a kinesiologist or whatever he is saying that basically he's definitely, he was calling before today's match. He's he's definitely not going to feature in that match. I would be surprised if he features at all against Real Madrid. So that's something to think about. And especially, God, with John Stones. See how things go.
Well, if anything, this to me kind of shows the workload that goes on to these guys. Especially with specific suspensions. When Walker was out during the round of 16.
That stupid ass red card.
That stupid fucking red card. And now, he's back out again. But now because of injury, we didn't have Cancelo for a match because of suspension. We're going to be, Zinchenko will be back in form by next week because I really don't think that he'll end up playing. He may in the Leeds match, but I think he would probably be a second half swap, if anything, with somebody. I think this is probably the game or the match that we might see some of the younger players come up, and Bete would definitely be welcomed for this match, I believe.
It would be interesting. If he does come on, it'll be a late sub, right? But I would like to see those minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I mean there were some players that like didn't start for Real and stuff like, and they obviously at the end they were just dumping everything in there.
Right.
But I wonder, when we go there, when we're in Madrid, if we see those guys starting too, because I think that like knowing Ancelotti, this match wasn't his concern so much. If he can keep within one goal, which they did, I think that was kind of the main goal. And then come home and
try to win on aggregate.
Yeah. But probably. Yeah, I think it's going to be it's going to be a stressful week for me. I'll tell you that.
I mean, yeah.
Then after that, it's just another fucking couple weeks to be stressed again until, well, I guess like a month or so.
Yeah, we have like a month and a week left of league matches. So, yeah.
Going until the final. When is the final? Why is that not just popping right there? 25th. No, that's
28th.
28th. So, yeah. Be like 3 weeks.
Yeah. But hopefully we're there. Hopefully we have that to talk about. Hopefully we get to come on and ring all you guys' ears about this. So,
and not just cry into our microphones.
Right. Listen, if you hear a bunch of ruckus, it might be because I threw mine. Took it off the stand.
We're just going
to across the room.
Continue this episode as Kyle talking. Great match. Could have ended better. Still loads of fun to watch. Tomorrow, another big fucking match. I think we are all leaning towards Liverpool winning, but hey, who knows? Any given fucking Tuesday or Wednesday.
Go Villarreal.
Do it. Just do it. Fuck them up.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Citeh After Dark. We will see you next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.